Right, we are currently live on our Facebook as well as our YouTube page at exactly 16 minutes after the hour of 2 o'clock. Welcome to the show. The name is Upiwe Amanda Wagotsibe, and I'm going to be with you till we take it to the top of the third hour. And also on the other side of town, as you can see, that we are joined by Mr. Nigel Gwen Evans. And once more, just to quickly mention, the Department of Small Business Development in partnership with the National Treasury and supported by the Ecosystem Development for Small Enterprise and the EU is delighted to invite you to a 2-day national township, rural and informal economy symposium entitled Elevating the Informal, Social as well as Solidarity Economies Best Practices to Inform Policy. How are you doing, sir? First things first.
Very good to be here in the Eastern Cape at Pequeni, and it's what's happening.
There's definitely a lot happening. Just a quick one. We want to find out quickly what was your role specifically today from the EU?
So I'm not with the EU. We are a program partnership between the South African government and the European Union, and we are actually based in government. We're based in the Department of Small Business Development. We support the Department of Agriculture. We support CEDA and CIFA. So we're really here to strengthen the whole ecosystem in South Africa. We're a 1 billion rand program supported by, as I say, funded by the European Union. And we've been going for the past 4 years. We've got another 1 year to go, and we're very excited to be here at this informal sector symposium.
All right, I think it's the first of its kind since COVID, and people there have been longing for this opportunity. And I'm glad that you've mentioned the sectors, Nigel, that you have mentioned. Is there a message of hope that you guys brought to these people now that there is a challenge of unemployment and people opt to start their own businesses?
Look, I think one can't get away from the fact that it was a very challenging time. We had Stats SA talking about if you take the expanded definition of employment up to 45%, somewhere around there. Obviously, the narrow definition, those of work seekers, 30, I can't quite remember, 36%, 33%, somewhere around there. So very clear that we have a huge challenge in unemployment. And really the only answer is SMMEs. It's not going to be in the formal part of the economy. It's going to be, not in the corporate sector, but it's going to be in the SMME sector. And it's going to, a lot of those are being absorbed in the informal sector, what this colloquium is all about.
Yeah, and it's common knowledge, Nigel, that some of these people get into business, as we heard the outcome of the research, that they come into business without any knowledge. They don't have skills. It's only the next thing to do, minus employment. So when you're talking about supporting them, what kind of support are you giving them?
So I think the message coming through today from a government side is that perhaps government services are far too fragmented on one level. So lots of bits and pieces happening all over, but it's not really coming together sufficiently. So I think moving ahead, and I think to touch on your point about hope, I think there's much more of a recognition that government needs to work in a more integrated way, so work together to deliver services. I think behind that, the district development model is a model which is being promulgated from the presidency down, and that's going to start to bring services together. And then thirdly, or C, ABC, I think a very key issue is going to be the question of partnerships between the public and the private sector. So the state, we know, does not have the resources that it does. It really is about partnerships between the public and the private sector. And then I think perhaps lastly, it's about entrepreneurship. So yes, skills are a problem, but we've got a very entrepreneurial society here. It's about people on the ground making a go of it, making opportunities happen, working hard, and driving through with opportunities that exist.
All right. Before I hand over to my colleague, I know that some people, they want financial handouts, and not knowing that even there is value when they are taken to a training, for that matter, financial management and this and that. Because that's what they think. They want checks, want this and that. Can you tell us the importance of getting non-financial assistance? and the value it adds.
Huge value. And I think also talking about the fragmented system,
Mm.
certainly one of the challenges is, for example, you've got CIFO, the financing agency, we've got a development agency, and there's not really sufficient engagement between the two and support for the two, where CIFA's funding SMMEs, SEED is providing the backup support.
Mm.
It's not working as effectively as it should. So government's very, very aware of that. They're looking at strategies to get the two together. They are actively now providing support to SMMEs that are being financed through CIFA, and it's long-term support. The point was made here. It's about ongoing engagement. It's not a once-off. You get a bit of support and away you go. So questions of mentorship are important. Getting the right financial skills, getting the right marketing skills. These are all critical areas of support that are required to ensure that SMMEs prosper and they don't die after 6 months or a year, where they go and blow their money and they don't provide achieve a sustainable business. So lots of lessons coming through, but I think the big thing is about integrated support.
Integrated support. Okay. Nice one. I think it was also, that was going to be my next question, but you've just quickly answered it for me. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Nigel Gwen Evans coming in from the Ecosystem Development for Small Enterprise of the EU. And looking at time, it is exactly 22 minutes after the hour of 2 o'clock now. It is almost going to be the third hour, and we are actually rushing for that third hour. But thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. And on that note, we'll quickly be ending this live, and we will still be continuing with the show.